She doesn't listen to your words, she listens to your absence. That's the truth most men only understand after they've been drained, disrespected, or dismissed. You can send her the longest text messages. You can try to explain yourself to show how loyal, honest, and committed you are. You can plead for clarity, offer transparency, and make promises carved in devotion, and none of it will matter, because it's not your effort that she respects. It's your absence. It's the fullness of your detachment, not halfway, not with one foot still waiting for her to turn around. No, full detachment, cold clarity, pure presence in your own lane. That's what shifts the dynamic. That's what shakes the illusion she had, that you'd always be there, orbiting her world like a dependable planet. And when that dependable presence disappears, not out of revenge, but out of respect for yourself, she notices. Not because you made a scene, but because you left the scene entirely. This video isn't about bitterness, games, or tactics. This is about truth, about peace, about the psychological strength of detachment. Because detachment isn't weakness, it's self-mastery. If you've ever felt unappreciated, misunderstood, or taken for granted, I'm going to walk you through why detachment is the most powerful thing a man can do. Not to win her back, but to win yourself back. Let's begin. 1. Respect begins where neediness ends. Respect doesn't come from how much you give. It comes from what you're willing to walk away from. That's the paradox. You show up, give her your best, stay available, offer your attention freely, and somehow she values it less. Why? Because when it's always there, it becomes background noise. Neediness doesn't always look like desperation. Sometimes it looks like loyalty. But women are intuitive. They feel the difference. When your presence is driven by the fear of losing her, she senses it. And once she senses that you're placing your worth in her hands, the dynamic shifts. She doesn't want a man who orbits her. She wants a man who moves with purpose, who chooses her, but doesn't need her. The Stoics called this self-sufficiency. A man rooted in inner strength doesn't beg for validation. He doesn't break when someone pulls away. He remains. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Detach not to punish, but to preserve yourself. 2. Stop explaining, start living. The moment most men feel distance, they start explaining. They send paragraphs, they clarify, they try to fix. But here's the catch. The more you explain, the more invisible you become. Because real power doesn't argue. Real presence doesn't justify. Real confidence isn't narrated, it's felt. Let your life speak louder than your words. Let your absence say more than your explanations ever could. When you stop chasing closure, when you stop demanding understanding, you step into a different space, the space of emotional clarity. The Stoics called this apatheia, not indifference, but unshakable presence. Imagine she pulls away. Instead of reacting, you redirect. You hit the gym, you pour into your craft, you rise, you send no essays. You send silence, backed by action, and that silence forces her to confront something deeper. What she took for granted is gone. Let her feel it. 3. Her uncertainty is your mirror. Most men panic in the face of uncertainty, but the wise man, the Stoic man, he embraces it because he knows. Her confusion is not his crisis. When she starts pulling away, becoming unpredictable, distant, that's not your call to chase. That's your signal to step back, not emotionally, but energetically. When she expects a reaction and gets none, that's when the dynamic changes. You become the variable. Not chaotic, not manipulative, just calm and unavailable. And in that tension, attraction builds. You don't need to make her insecure. You just need to be unavailable in peace. That space you create, it's where curiosity grows. That's the soil of reevaluation. That's where she realizes what you are actually worth. 4. The man who walks away with peace. Anyone can storm out. Anyone can yell. Anyone can throw blame. But walking away with peace in your eyes, that's unforgettable. It's not noise that lingers. It's stillness. Stillness says, I've seen enough. Stillness says, I no longer abandon myself to hold space for someone who won't meet me there. It's not about punishing her. It's about protecting yourself. You walk away not to cause guilt, but to reclaim dignity. And that absence, that serenity, it stays with her, long after the dust settles. Marcus Aurelius again, the best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury. So don't return fire with fire, return it with freedom. 5. Detach to rediscover direction. Most men lose their way when they overinvest in someone who isn't reciprocating. They lose their rhythm. Their priorities blur. They stop leading themselves. But detachment is the correction. It's not abandonment, it's alignment. It's not about ghosting her. It's about unghosting yourself. Think of the man who once prioritized his health, goals, discipline. But the moment love entered, he abandoned all that. He became available 24/7. She didn't even ask for that, but he gave it anyway. And slowly she started to pull away, because she didn't want to be the center of his world. She wanted to walk beside him while he built his world. When you detach, you reconnect to your direction. You remember your values. Your focus becomes magnetic. That's what commands long-term respect, not words, not affection, purpose. 6. Let her feel the void, not hear about it. Stop announcing your departure. Stop dropping hints. Stop posting cryptic quotes. Go silent. Not because you're punishing her, but because you've finally shifted your attention inward. That space you leave? That's the message. When a man truly detaches, he doesn't broadcast it. He simply no longer performs the emotional labor for someone who has stopped showing up. He stops checking, stops explaining, stops waiting. He removes his energy. And trust me, she feels that before she ever reads a text. Most men pull back but keep one foot in the door. That's limbo. That's noise. That's confusion. And women can sense it. But when you fully detach, you exit the performance. And that's when your absence starts doing the talking. Your silence challenges her ego, confronts her assumptions, forces her to ask, did I lose something I thought I'd always have? That's not manipulation. That's the result of reclaiming your essence. 7. You're not losing her. You're reclaiming you. Detachment often feels like loss. But here's the truth. You're not losing anything that was meant for you. You're releasing what wasn't aligned. When a man detaches, he comes face to face with himself. He sees where he compromised. He realizes where he overgave. And in that realization, he rebuilds. He rediscovers his edge, his peace. His silence becomes sharper than any speech. She may circle back. She may reach out again. But this time, you won't respond from need. You'll respond from clarity. That's where the power is.